Good morning, dear children. Come back to online classes. Today we are going to see chapter number 5 of civics. The chapter name is Judiciary. So, first let us discuss what is judiciary. According to the constitution, there are three organs of the government. There are legislature, the executive and the judiciary. The legislature refers to our elected representatives. The executive is a smaller group of people who are responsible for implementing laws and running the government. The judiciary. The judiciary refers to the system of courts in this country. In India, we have the rule of law. What this means is that laws apply equally to all persons and that a concern set of fixed procedures need to be followed when a law is violated. To enforce this rule of law, we have a judicial system that consists of the mechanism of courts that a citizen can approach when a law is violated. As an organ of the government, the judiciary plays a crucial role in the functioning of India's democracy. It can play this role only because it is independent. What does an independent judiciary mean? Is there any connection between the courts in your area and the Supreme Court in New Delhi? In this chapter, we will find answers to these questions. What is the role of the judiciary? Broadly speaking, the work of the judiciary can be divided into the following. Dispute resolution. Dispute here means a disagreement or argument. So, the judicial system provides a mechanism for resolving disputes between citizens and the government, between two state governments, and between the center and state governments. Next is judicial review. As the final interpreter of the constitution, the judiciary also has the power to strike down particular laws passed by the parliament if it believes that these are a violation of the basic structure of the constitution. This is called judicial review. It is upholding the law and enforcing fundamental rights. Every citizen of India can approach the Supreme Court or the High Court if they believe that their fundamental rights have been violated. So here is one example about Hakim Sheikh, an agricultural laborer who fell from a running train and injured himself, and whose condition got worse because several hospitals refused to admit him. On hearing this case, the Supreme Court ruled that Article 21, which provides every citizen the fundamental right to life, also includes the right to health. It therefore directed the West Bengal government to pay him compensation. Compensation here means this refers to money given to make amends for an injury or loss. Compensation for the loss suffered as well as to come up with a blueprint for primary health care with particular performance reference to treatment of patients during an emergency. So, blueprint here means it is a guide for making something. It is a pattern that can be followed. So, what is an independent judiciary? Our next topic is, imagine a situation in which a powerful politician has encroached on land belonging to your family. Within this judicial system, the politician has the power to appoint and dismiss a judge from his office. When you take this case to court, the judge is clearly partial to the politician. The control that the politician holds over the judge does not allow for the judge to take an independent decision. This lack of independence would force the judge to make all judgments in favor of the politician. Although we often hear of rich and powerful people in India trying to influence the judicial process, the Indian Constitution protects against this kind of situation by providing for the independence of the judiciary. One aspect of this independence is the separation of powers. This, as you have read in chapter 1, a key feature of the Constitution. What this means here is that other branches of government, the legislature and the executive, cannot interfere in the work of judiciary. The courts are not under the government and do not act on their belief. For the above separation to work well, it is also crucial that all judges in the High Court as well as the Supreme Court are appointed with very little interference from the other branches of government. Once appointed to this office, it is also very difficult to remove a judge. Here in this topic, what do you think an independent judiciary is? Why do you think an independent judiciary is necessary to carry out this important function? An independent judiciary is necessary to carry the function of upholding the law and enforcing fundamental rights so that every citizen of India can approach the Supreme Court if they believe that their fundamental rights have been violated. And again, the next thing is that with reference to independence of judiciary, what does the separation of power mean? Separation of power mean that other branches of the state like the legislature and the executive cannot interfere in the work of judiciary. The courts are not under the government and do not act on their behalf. Independence of the judiciary that allows the courts to play a central role in ensuring that there is no misuse of power by the legislature and the executive. It also plays a crucial role in protecting the fundamental rights of citizens because anyone can approach the court if they believe that their rights have been violated. What is the structure of courts in India? We will see now. There are 3 different levels of courts in our country. There are several courts at the lower level, while there is only one at the apex level. The courts that most people interact with are what are called subordinate or district courts. These are usually at the district or tehsil level or in towns, and they hear many kinds of cases. Each state is divided into districts that are presided over by a district judge. Each state has a high court, which is the highest court of that state. At the top is the Supreme Court that is located in New Delhi and is presided over by the Chief Justice of India. The decisions made by the Supreme Court are binding on all other courts in India. Different levels of courts connected to each other? Answer is yes, they are connected to each other. In India, we have an integrated judicial system, meaning that the decisions made by the high courts are binding on the lower courts. Another way to understand this integration is through the appellate system that exists in India. This means that a person can appeal to a higher court if they believe that the judgment passed by the lower court is not just. So let me tell you that high courts were first established in the three presidency cities of Calcutta, Mumbai, and Madras in 1862. The High Court of Delhi came up in 1966. So now this is the end of the today's class, children. Next class we will see the remaining part of this chapter. Thank you very much.